Welcome to this capsule on the history of airplanes. In this video, we will explore the fascinating story of how airplanes have evolved from their humble beginnings as experimental prototypes to the complex and sophisticated flying machines of today. Starting from the early pioneers of flight such as the Wright brothers, we will take a journey through time and examine the various milestones in the development of airplanes, including the introduction of commercial air travel, the advent of military airplanes, and the space race. In addition to exploring the technological advancements in aviation, we will also examine the social and cultural impact of airplanes on society, including the impact on transportation, commerce, and global politics. So, sit back and get ready to take off on this journey through the history of airplanes. Before we continue, feel free to like the video and subscribe to our channel, which will help us enormously be more successful. The early years of aviation, from 1783 to 1914, were marked by a series of experiments and discoveries that would lay the foundation for the modern aviation industry. In 1783, the Montgolfier brothers made the first successful manned hot air balloon flight, launching a new era of aviation. In the following decades, inventors around the world began experimenting with gliders, and the idea of powered flight started to gain traction. The Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur, are widely considered to be the pioneers of powered flight, after they successfully flew the first powered, controlled, and sustained heavier-than-air human flight in 1903. The early years of aviation were characterized by rapid technological advancements, with inventors experimenting with a variety of materials, engines, and designs. The Wright brothers' flyer, for example, was made of lightweight materials such as spruce, bamboo, and muslin, and was powered by a gasoline engine. The flyer was a major step forward in the development of powered flight, as it was able to fly for a longer period of time and cover a greater distance than previous flying machines. The rise of commercial air travel, from 1914 to the 1940s, saw a rapid expansion of the aviation industry and the growth of air travel as a mode of transportation. The introduction of the world's first scheduled air service in 1914 marked the beginning of commercial air travel, and paved the way for the growth of airlines and air routes. By the 1920s, air travel had become more widespread, and airlines were expanding their operations to new destinations. The growth of commercial air travel was driven by a number of factors, including advancements in aircraft technology and engine design, the expansion of air routes and the growth of airlines, and increasing demand for air travel. Airlines introduced larger, more advanced aircraft such as the Ford Trimitar and the Douglas DC-3, which made air travel faster, more comfortable, and more accessible to a wider range of people. In the 1930s, air travel became even more popular as airlines introduced new routes, expanded their networks, and offered lower fares. The rise of commercial air travel was also accompanied by improvements in air traffic control and air navigation systems, making air travel safer and more efficient. In the 1940s, the Civil Aeronautics Board was established in the United States, and played a key role in regulating the aviation industry and promoting the growth of air travel. The growth of commercial air travel during this period laid the foundation for the modern aviation industry, and helped to make air travel a popular and accessible mode of transportation for people around the world. The era of military airplanes, from the 1930s to the 1960s, saw significant advancements in military aviation and the use of airplanes in warfare. The use of aircraft in World War I marked the beginning of the era, and demonstrated the potential of airplanes as weapons of war. In the years leading up to World War II, military powers around the world invested heavily in the development of military aircraft, resulting in the creation of a range of advanced aircraft designed specifically for military use. During World War II, the use of military airplanes reached new heights, as aircraft played a key role in a range of military operations, from reconnaissance and bombing missions to air superiority and airlift operations. The war also saw the development of new technologies, including radar, jet engines, and missiles, that would have a lasting impact on the aviation industry. In the years following the war, military aviation continued to evolve, with a focus on improving the speed, range, and capabilities of military aircraft. The 1950s and 1960s saw the advent of the Cold War, which led to increased military spending and a continued focus on the development of military aviation. The development of the jet engine, and the introduction of new aircraft such as the F-86 Sabre and the F-4 Phantom, further improved the capabilities of military aircraft and enabled new roles, such as air-to-air combat and air-to-ground attack. The increasing importance of military aviation was reflected in the growing use of aircraft in a range of military operations, including the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and the Gulf War. Throughout the era of military airplanes, military aviation played a crucial role in shaping the course of history, and the development of military aircraft had a lasting impact on the aviation industry and the wider world. The space race, which took place between the 1950s and 1960s, was a period of intense competition between the United States and the Soviet Union to advance the field of space exploration and become the dominant power in space. The competition was driven by the political, technological, and scientific ambitions of both nations and was fueled by the Cold War. The space race began in earnest in 1957, when the Soviet Union launched the first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1, into orbit. This event stunned the world and marked the beginning of a new era in space exploration. In response, the United States launched its own satellite, Explorer 1, in 1958 and established the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, later that same year. The competition between the United States and the Soviet Union continued to escalate, with each nation setting increasingly ambitious goals and milestones. In 1961, Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin became the first human to orbit the Earth, while American astronaut Alan Shepard became the first American in space. The climax of the space race came in 1969, when American astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to walk on the Moon. Throughout the space race, both the United States and the Soviet Union invested heavily in space technology and research, leading to a rapid expansion of the field of space exploration. The competition also inspired a new generation of scientists, engineers, and astronauts, who went on to continue the exploration of space and advance our understanding of the universe. The modern era of aviation, which began in the 1960s and continues to the present day, has seen significant advances in the technology and safety of air travel. One of the biggest developments in this era was the introduction of commercial jets, which greatly increased the speed and efficiency of air travel and made it more accessible to the general public. The widespread use of computer technology and automation has also greatly improved the safety and efficiency of air travel. Another major development has been the growth of the low-cost carrier model, which has made air travel more affordable for a wider range of people. This has led to a significant increase in air traffic. The rise of the global economy has also played a role in the growth of air travel, as businesses and individuals increasingly rely on air transportation to connect with partners and customers across the world. The modern era of aviation has also seen an increased focus on sustainability and environmental responsibility. Airlines and manufacturers have developed more fuel-efficient aircraft, reduced their carbon emissions, and implemented practices to reduce their impact on the environment. Governments around the world have also introduced regulations and initiatives aimed at reducing the impact of aviation on the environment. In the years to come, the aviation industry will continue to face challenges and opportunities, as technology continues to advance and the world becomes more connected. Nevertheless, the modern era of aviation will likely be remembered as a time of significant growth and innovation, as air travel became an integral part of the global transportation network and paved the way for further advances in air travel and space exploration. And that's a wrap on our video. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed learning about the history of airplanes. So, don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting content. See you in our next capsule.